She moved 1,000 miles from home, left behind everything she knew: her family, her friends, the warm southern air she'd grown up breathing, for a supervisor position she'd actually earned. Fresh start, new city, brand new chapter. And exactly 1 month in, she found a note on her desk that made her quit on the spot. But I need to back up, because this story isn't just about a note. It's about what happens when you uproot your entire life for a job that was never going to respect you. Okay, so let's call her Maya. Maya grew up down south, Georgia, Carolina, somewhere warm. The kind of place where the worst winter gets you is maybe a dusting of snow and everyone loses their minds at the grocery store. She lands this supervisor gig up north. Good pay, real title. The kind of opportunity you don't turn down. So she packs up, moves to a city where she knows nobody, and she's feeling good about it. Nervous, sure, but good. She gets a little apartment, sets up her life, gets her two pets settled in, a dog and a cat, her little family. And for the first few weeks, things are fine. She's learning the ropes, meeting her team. The job is exactly what she signed up for. And then winter hits. Not like the winter she grew up with. I'm talking real winter. The sky goes gray and just stays gray. The temperature drops to a place she didn't think temperatures went. And one night, the forecast starts throwing around numbers that honestly scared her. 10 inches of snow. Coming fast. Now, if you're from the north, you hear that and you think, okay, bad commute tomorrow. But Maya? She had no idea that the side streets where she lived, they don't plow those until way later in the day. Nobody told her that. She didn't even know that was a thing. So the storm rolls in and it's bad. Like, can't see across the street bad. Maya's at work and her boss, let's call her Denise, pulls her aside and says, hey, you need to stay overnight. We need you here for your morning shift tomorrow. And Maya, she's trying to be a team player, right? She's brand new. 1 month in, she doesn't want to rock the boat. But she's also thinking about her dog and her cat sitting alone in that apartment with no one to let them out, no one to feed them. So she speaks up. She says, look, I have pets at home. They depend on me. If this storm gets bad enough, I could get stuck here, and there's nobody else who can take care of them. And Denise just kind of shrugs like it's not her problem. Maya starts making calls. She's texting everyone she can think of in this new city, which remember is not many people. Coworkers, the one neighbor she's met. Anyone. Can somebody please go check on my animals? Can somebody let my dog out? But the storm is hammering the whole area. Nobody can get anywhere. Meanwhile, there's another supervisor. We'll call him Greg. And Greg is already planning to stay overnight at the office. So it's not like they'd be short-staffed. They literally had coverage. But Denise wanted Maya there too, because apparently 1 month into the job means you don't get to have a life outside of it. The snow keeps coming, 10 inches. Her little side street is completely buried. And Maya tries. She actually goes out to her car and tries to get it out. Picture this. It's freezing, it's dark, snow up past her ankles, and she's out there trying to dig her car out of a street that hasn't been plowed and won't be plowed for hours. The tires are just spinning. She's not going anywhere. So she does the responsible thing. She calls in. 5 hours before her shift. 5 hours. That's more notice than most people give when they call out for a hangover on a Tuesday. And what does she get for it? That's a write-up. A formal write-up in her first month for something she literally could not control. Maya had never been written up in her entire career, not once. She'd been a model employee everywhere she'd worked. And now she's got a mark on her record because God decided to drop 10 inches of snow on a city that doesn't plow side streets. But okay, fine. She swallows it. She tells herself, this is just how they do things here. Maybe it's stricter up north. Maybe she just needs to prove herself. So she comes back in for her next shift, walks into the office, sits down at her desk, and there it is. A note. Sitting right there in the middle of her desk. Impossible to miss. And when she reads it, everything changes. Now, she didn't share exactly what the note said word for word, but she described it as the kind of thing that made her feel unwelcome. Not just criticized. Unwelcome. Like she didn't belong there. And think about that for a second. This is a woman who moved 1,000 miles from home. She has no family nearby, no real friends yet. Her entire support system is a phone call away at best. And the one place where she's supposed to be building something, her workplace, her team, somebody takes the time to sit down, write out a note, and leave it on her desk like a little gift-wrapped message of, "You're not one of us." And look, I know what some of you are thinking. Maybe the note wasn't that bad. Maybe it was just poorly worded advice from someone who meant well. That's actually what her parents said. Her mom called and said, "Honey, she probably didn't mean anything by it." Don't overreact. And I get that instinct. I do. But here's what I keep coming back to. Maya was there. She read the note. She felt what she felt. And sometimes the people closest to you want so badly for things to be okay that they'll explain away the thing that's clearly not okay. But Maya couldn't shake it. She drove home that night replaying everything. The write-up that made no sense. The storm that wasn't her fault. The fact that Greg was right there and could have covered her shift. And now, this note. 1 month. That's all she'd been given. 1 month and already a write-up. Already a nasty note. Already made to feel like she was the problem. And something clicked in her brain that night. You know that feeling when you stop trying to make something work and you just see it clearly? Like the fog lifts and you realize, oh, this was never going to be okay. So Maya goes home. She pets her dog. She feeds her cat. She sits down at her kitchen table and she opens her laptop and she writes an email. Not an angry email, not a burn the bridge email. Just a clear, professional, here's why I'm done email. She laid it all out. The write-up for something beyond her control. The note that made her feel unwelcome. The fact that she'd uprooted her entire life for this position, and in 30 days, they'd managed to make her feel like she'd made the biggest mistake of her life. She read it over twice, took a breath, and hit send. And that was it. She quit. And here's the part that honestly floored me. Denise, her boss, the woman who'd written her up, the woman whose desk that note probably came from, responds to Maya's resignation email with 2 words. Happy holidays. That's it. Happy holidays. No, please, let's talk about this. No, I'm sorry you feel that way. Not even a fake we hate to see you go. Just happy holidays. Like Maya was a subscription she'd been meaning to cancel anyway. Happy holidays. You know what that response tells you? It tells you everything you need to know about how much they valued her. Zero hesitation. No attempt to retain her. No concern at all. And that right there is the thing Maya's parents weren't seeing. They were focused on the note. Was the note really that bad? Did she overreact to the note? But the note was just the last thing. The note was the period at the end of a sentence that had already been written. The real story was a workplace that punished a woman for a snowstorm and couldn't even pretend to care when she walked out the door. And I know there are people who'll say she should have toughed it out, found another job first, played the game. And yeah, financially, that's probably the safer move. I'm not going to pretend quitting without a backup plan isn't scary, but there's something else people don't talk about enough. The cost of staying somewhere that's already shown you who they are. 1 month in and they were already punishing her for things outside her control and leaving passive-aggressive notes on her desk. What do you think month 6 looks like? Month 12? You think it gets better? Because I'll tell you from experience, places like that don't get better. They just get more creative about making you miserable. So, was she overreacting? I mean, look, she moved across the country for this job. She tried to do everything right. She communicated about the storm. She tried to find someone for her pets. She tried to dig her car out. She gave 5 hours notice. And she still got written up and then came back to a note that basically said, you don't belong here. Sometimes walking away isn't an overreaction. Sometimes it's the first smart decision you've made since you got there. And Denise, she's probably still sitting in that same office, same navy cardigan, leaving notes on somebody else's desk by now. Some people never change. They just cycle through new people to push around. But Maya? She got out before that place could take any more from her. 30 days, that's all they got. And honestly, happy holidays to her too. Because the best gift she could have given herself that year was walking away from people who were never going to see her worth. If this one hit close to home, drop a comment. I know a lot of you have been there. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe because the next story I've got is even crazier than this one.